So given what I do is basically growth strategy, there are many verticals that we can look at within the business, within the category, outside of the category, or outside of the country per se. Now, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, especially recently, when the category is, mushrooming. I like also to use the term. Um, what happens is clients who have big brands in a certain category, they don't realize that. So in fact, what they're doing, they're just thinking of their category at one point in time and that it is static. So the biggest thing, or that they can think of, it's probably a line extension, or a flavor, or a new packaging, or a different size, or so forth. But in reality, you need to go back to the consumption habits of the consumers, whether your first target, which is the core target, or the spillover target. So customer segmentation is extremely important. I would always highly recommend that study to be running continuously, tracking over time. And one important chart is the consumption interlocks, so the solo versus dual, and the substitution. Probably one of the most important, super important questions that you have to have in that survey is the substitution, because over 25 years, I've seen very interesting substitutions to things we, as practitioners in this business, you would never think that consumers are behaving that way, particularly if you are working in unorganized kind of developing emerging markets type of industry, category, market, and so forth. It is just amazing in that respect. Let me share with you a couple of slides, which I think you'll find interesting in that respect. And the thought there is about reframing your category. Start to think of your category differently. I mean, I've worked the bulk of my fast-moving consumer goods career in snacking across. And 20 years ago, if you would ask about what is a snack, they'd probably come up with a fruit. But over the years, what is defined as a snack has actually changed. So you get an apple as a first, or maybe an orange or something. But then over time, I got to see stuff like that, whether it's a biscuit, so more commercialized stuff, so a biscuit, a filled croissant that fills in both hunger and indulgence. There's so many layers in snacking and need states that can cater for that. So that is a snack. And by definition, a snack is something that you eat between meals. All right. So it's not even a meal. What has happened over time that other items came in as a substitution, like noodles, and it's been happening for like the last 10 years. It has evolved definitely from emerging markets. There are poorer markets whereby consumers are thinking of this of a stretch. It's not really a snack. It has stretched to a meal replacement. And we have seen, I've seen a lot of markets whereby what happens is that you drop the meals of the day and there's only one meal that you have with the family, which usually later at night. But all through the day, you are just, skipping meals because they're not affordable anymore. So you will find all the convenience stores, the kiosks, blah, blah, blah. They are filled with tons of stuff. One of the most interesting things I've had in the last survey I had with snacking is coffee coming in. And here it's not a snack per se, or as we know it, but it's more of a beverage that, it gives you this timing over to the next meal. It stops your appetite, stops you from being hungry. A lot of people would take this as a diet thing. I'm not hungry anymore. So the key thing here is your mindset as a brand owner. You need to understand, if you want to grow, you need to think, what is the competitive context in the consumer's mind, not in your mind. All right, you heard me right. So what is the competitive context in the consumer's mind, not your mind? Yeah. And this has layers of in-depth understanding of the lifestyle of targets, their age group, how their day go, and so forth, and their needs, because need states are very, very different in some categories. If you look at wellness, something like billions of dollars of an industry, this is a huge ecosystem, and it's growing, and it will continue to grow. The numbers are staggering. But then again, who are you competing with? Look at this. You've got three big ones: health, food, beauty. All of them are into wellness and well care. It has also been over indexed heavily after COVID. So if you are, I don't know, pills from a multi national pharmaceutical, you're offering vitamins. Did you know that you are competing with everything? So it's pills, for example, for the hair, okay, for the complexion, all of this. So dermatology, whether it's from pharmaceutical, from natural ingredients, it could be the case that you believe that it's about the food that you eat, that your hair is going to grow. It depends. It depends on the customers. But all of these are competing for the share of pocket that this customer is putting a budget on his or her wellness and whatever they define it. And then within that, my wellness, what is the priority for me? What's the age group? Also look into, I had a recent video on the opportunity with the aging population, whether in Europe or emerging markets. Maybe you want to check that out as well. So even the definition of aging has changed from one country to the other, and over time, people are living longer. They have this ability to read, to comprehend, to get excited about new health products and so forth. And of course, social media and influencers are all over the place in that respect. So look at all of these. Yeah, there's so much need states, there's so much subcategories, even the formats. I mean, some people, for example, they don't like pills, or as you grow older, or maybe they're kids or whatever, they don't like this format. So is powder format is any better? If you are on the go and you want to have your whey powder protein, but you have to mix it, what do I do with that? But then comes, for example, sports and spa and all of that comes in yoga classes. Can you imagine how many things in the consumer minds the customer are looking at and then making choices about the health benefit and his priority and hierarchy of needs, and then making a choice. And that choice, again, drills down to how many brands. So you pinned on, okay, I'm going to go for sports. So which gym, which trainer, which sports supplement I'm going to get. There's so many choices and options for that customer. So if you're not thinking in the bigger picture and then make a decision, you will never grow. And if you just launch something without understanding the bigger picture and what is your competitive frame of reference for that consumer that you have targeted, it is not going to go well. All right, you're just going to be yet another brand, which of course can happen and you can succeed, but to me, it's not going to have longevity in the market. So I'll leave you with those two words: customer segmentation and understanding the competitive context. You need to reframe the opportunity and think differently in that respect. So I'll leave it here, and I wish you all the best in thinking about the next growth opportunity for you.